Welcome into the DePaud, a DePaul Hoops podcast brought to you by Under the L. Go check out underthel.org today and get on board. Under the L is the NIL collective for your DePaul Blue Demons that aims to bring financial coaching and business services to student athletes in all sports. Your involvement and subscription to Under the L not only has a direct effect on the talent that can be attracted to DePaul, but you get some great membership perks as well. From exclusive gear to larger social gatherings involving our student athletes, go and check out underthel.org now. The train's leaving the station. Are you on board? On today's episode of the pod, we talk basketball season. It's here. It's almost here where you could taste it. You got Blue Madness tonight, and then you jump over to the women taking on Iowa, the Hawkeyes over at Kinnick Stadium. We'll talk about that a little bit. But let's just jump right into the episode and get things going, Blue Demon Nation.
Got a McAdoo look to his shot.
Spins, fade away. Yes, sirree! Chandler hits the three.
Oh, tough shot. Giving it up to Reed.
Welcome into the DePaul Hoops podcast brought to you by Under the L. Get over to underthel.org right now. Pick up your tickets for that blue-red scrimmage. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into the show. So get over to underthel.org. Go support the Blue Demon NIL Collective right now and get your tickets for the blue-red scrimmage. Let's talk about this weekend. Jam-packed weekend for DePaul Athletics. Got Blue Madness tonight at 7:30 at McGrath-Phillips Arena. Get over there. It's a free event. Always a great time. Really fun kickoff to basketball season. Really means that it's right here, right around the corner. We're just over a month away from the first meaningful game. There's going to be a few scrimmages and things of that nature coming up for both the men's and women's teams. We'll talk about the women's scrimmage coming up this weekend in a short minute. But there's a few things going on this weekend. You got women's tennis, ITA Midwest Regionals. There's also cross country versus Bradley. It's the Bradley Pink Invitational in Peoria. And then women take on St. John's Red Storm over in Jamaica, Queens this weekend for volleyball on Friday. And then, of course, too, there's some other events coming on. There's softball at Northwestern. Men's soccer takes on Butler. Women's volleyball at Seton Hall, amongst other things. And then on Sunday, there's women's soccer at Seton Hall, and then the big game, the crossover at Kinnick, women's basketball scrimmage, breaking the record for attendance for a women's basketball game. It's going to be pretty easy. Some team from, some Big East team, I can't remember who, was playing a championship game. Only had 29,000 people there in attendance for that game. And DePaul and Iowa, they've got 55 potentially. Have an opportunity to have 55,000 people at Kinnick Stadium for the crossover at Kinnick to benefit the Children's Hospital over there in Iowa. Really cool opportunity for DePaul. Really cool event as a whole. Really cool to get out in front of all those people. Get the brand out there. Dwayne talked about it last time he was on with the Christmas event, or the Christmas game versus Creighton, I should say, last season to this, getting DePaul, getting the brand on a big name stage like this in front of all these people so this is going to be aired on the Big Ten Network at 2 p.m. Really a cool opportunity for the first time to see the women in action this season. Doug and his team go out to Iowa to take on Caitlin Clark and that team. So make sure you tune in to the Big Ten Network at 2:00 on Sunday and check out the DePaul women's basketball team for the first time this season. So we talked about Blue Madness. We talked about the women's team heading over to Iowa And then now we've got also the men's team is going to play in the blue-red scrimmage to benefit the Under the L collective. $25 a ticket. It's going to be October 20th. It should be a really cool event. A lot of Blue Demons of old, Bobby Simmons, Tommy Kleinschmidt, and of course, Mark Aguirre as well. All will be in attendance. All will be guests and potentially coaches for these teams. So it'll really be cool to this is the first time DePaul's having an event like this. Obviously, they've had open practices and things of that nature in the past, but this blue-red scrimmage for the first time in a long time to be able to see those guys in action on October 20th at McGrath Phillips Arena, $25 a ticket. Get over to underthel.org right now. Get your tickets, and I'll see you there because I'll be in attendance, and it'll be a really cool event to see all those people, all the for the first time, see all the different subscribers to Under the L. All right, let's talk the schedule for this season. We've got the final tune-up before the season starts against North Park, Edwin McGee's North Park, former Blue Demon there. Then you jump right into 3 games in 7 days with starting with Purdue Fort Wayne at Wintrust. I think you look at Purdue Fort Wayne, Long Beach State, South Dakota, and then the Arizona tip-off there. I think going up to NIU, so you've got Fort Wayne, Long Beach State, South Dakota, South Carolina, Grand Canyon, or San Francisco, and then NIU. I think there's a real potential that DePaul opens up 6-0 to start the season, or at worst 5-1. I think, and realistically for the whole non-conference, I think that you're either going to see DePaul go 6-4 or 8-2. I think that Northwestern and Louisville are kind of my toss-ups, and I think that I'd probably say Texas A&M and Iowa State are the two that I don't see DePaul winning, but I hope they do, obviously. Blue Demon fan, I want them to go undefeated. I'd love to see them go 10-0 in non-conference, but I'm just kind of prognosticating here. And then, of course, you then go into Big East play. And let's talk the Big East this year. I mean, today or yesterday on Twitter, everyone was putting out their, or the past few days, I should say, everyone was putting out their preseason rankings, and many of them you saw DePaul probably from 10 to 11. Not much iteration there. Real original by Big East Twitter, to be frank. But I really see. I mean, Georgetown. I see Georgetown and Butler and Seton Hall, 3 teams that are very. Dwayne talked about it. You got to win those games. You got to win the games that you're supposed to win, and then maybe squeak out a few here and there with some of the other teams. And I think that DePaul has an opportunity to be ahead of Seton Hall, be ahead of Butler. I think Butler is very weak, and I think people are not realizing that. Obviously, you look at the Evan Mias of the world and the Ken Palms of the world. They have their metrics and everything like that. And it's kind of a crapshoot to start the season. Metrics are kind of throw those out the window until you get a few games under your belt. And a lot of them have DePaul down low, down in the 160s, 150s in their rankings. But I think with the Big East, there's an opportunity here that you look at the top half of the Big East and you realize, like, okay, it's a powerhouse. Realistically, conceivably, you could get seven teams in the tournament, and if you don't, it's kind of a disappointment. But I think that Butler is gettable, very gettable. I mean, the Butler fans like to talk about their record against DePaul in the past, but Butler's significantly weaker than Butler has been in the past. And Seton Hall too. I mean, Shaw's still trying to figure it out there, and I think that Seton Hall's going to have a rough year as well. He's got to have his get right season, of course, but I think that Seton Hall has an opportunity to fall below DePaul in the rankings. And then you look at Georgetown. Cooley's a good coach, but he's dealing with a lot there at Georgetown. You're talking turning a team around that has won 2 games in the last few years. I don't see it, and I don't think he turned that roster over like a lot of people expected him to immediately. It's going to take a few years before Cooley gets his feet settled under him. So I can see DePaul being ahead of Seton Hall. I definitely see them ahead of Butler at the end of the year, and Georgetown too. I think there's potential there as well. So, talking seventh in the Big East, or I'm sorry, eighth in the Big East, ahead of those three teams. 9, 10, 11. Yeah. I think that I'll probably catch a lot of flack for this, but I think it's realistic. And I think that these guys that DePaul has brought in, that Coach Stubblefield has brought in, there's a high ceiling for a lot of these players. They've all come out of high school with high rankings and high expectations. And I think that putting them on the stage is going to be great for their mentality, for their mindset, and get them into a place where they can really show out and really do a good thing for good things for their career. And then too, you talk about Deshaun Nelson and Jalen Terry. Those guys have been around now for a couple of years, and they should. You'd love to see them progress and be leaders on this team. And I think that them, along with Elijah Fisher, Jeremiah Odin, and everyone else, Caleb Murphy, everyone else. I mean, this team has potential. They're a lot longer. They're a lot more athletic than they have been in years past. And you should expect to see this team take on teams a lot more defensively. The defense is going to be, I think, through the roof different, like night and day different than previous years. And I think you look at the schedule. I think there's a real opportunity to see this team finish 15-13. That's squeaking out a win against Creighton, who I know has been a really big adversary for DePaul, and then splitting with Xavier as well. I think that with Fremantle and Jerome being out, they've got a lot of great, they've got those two European guys coming in as well. And I know that they're always going to be a tough team with Miller as the coach, but I think that you could squeak out a win against Xavier, you squeak out a win against Nova, and you sweep Butler and Seton Hall. You could see this team finish at 15-13. I think really, I'm looking really optimistically here, but I think that there's a path to 17-11, which, everyone will call me crazy. Anyone that hears this will call me crazy, and that's fair. I'm just trying to look from the optimistic side of things, making that prediction from a best case scenario, 17-11. And I think a little bit more realistically, a little bit more tempered, 15-13. So that's where I have them this year. I have them finishing somewhere in the middle of the pack in the Big East. Like I said, Seton Hall, Butler, Georgetown, they're not going to be as good as a lot of people have said. I think that those three teams are going to have much more down years than people expect, and I have a really good feeling about the season from the perspective of, listen, I think that our non-conference schedule, there's an opportunity, like I said, to start 6-0 or 5-1, and then go strong into the later half of the later parts of the non-conference, and go strong, going strong to the Big East play, and catch some of those teams off guard, because no one's expecting DePaul to do anything of any sort of anything to write home about. And I think that there's an opportunity to catch teams off guard if these guys get a chip on their shoulder, play up to their expectations, play up to what everyone said that they were going to do coming out of high school, coming into college. Mac Etienne, Elijah Fisher, Caleb Murphy. We have a lot of good athletes on this team, and if they all come together and everything clicks, like I think it will, the sky's the limit. I really do. With Deshaun Nelson coming back, Jalen Terry coming back, lots of experience in Stubbs' offense. You want and a lot of length too coming back. You've got Mac Etienne. You've got Churchill too, who having Mac and Churchill working together and getting on the same page. I think that could be a really good rotation there. There's also the subject of the last roster spot. that seems like it's going to be open for at least the time being. If anything comes up with that, obviously I'll share that with you all. But my official prediction for DePaul should be somewhere around 7 or 8, finishing the season 7 or 8 in the Big East. And either I don't know if they'll get, depending on, I mean, if they get to 17-11, I think that's a tournament team easily, especially with the Big East. But I think 15 and 13, you'll see them maybe on the bubble or NIT, and I think that's a realistic expectation. That's where I want to see them, and I'm always going to be optimistic until I have no reason to be optimistic. That's just who I am. You guys will get to know that as well. So before we go, let's make sure you guys are all ready for the season to start. Make sure you get over to Home Field. It's a brand new affiliation program with them that I got set up with. Go check out homefieldapparel.com and use promo code DePaud for 15% off your next order. There's also a link in our bio in the link tree, so make sure you go click that if you need to order some new DePaul Blue Demon gear. Home Field's got great t-shirts and fleeces, sweatshirts, all of that to get you set up for this season. Go check out homefieldapparel.com. Pick up your high quality retro DePaul basketball gear and use promo code DePaud to get 15% off your next order. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to the next week, the next time we talk. And until next time, go Blue Demon.